Is there any chance it isn't Real Madrid that he goes to and we might see him in the Premier League?
Yeah, of course. I think still anything is possible, even if I think the marriage between Kylian Mbappe and Real Madrid, and we've explained many times, is long due and will happen at some point, I think inevitably. If you're any of the top 6, top 7 English clubs, you try, you go for it. You sell your club, you present a project, you put everything on the table, you go in thinking that you can convince him to choose you in a way. Because it's a bit like that. Of course, it'll be even easier if he becomes a free agent and if he does stay his final year of his contract in Paris, and then at the summer 2024, there's a huge battle to get him as a free agent. But even now, listen, if you're Liverpool and maybe you don't have that kind of money now, let's say 150 million, you find it. Your ownership have to find it. Your sponsors. It would be such an incredible signing for any of the English, for any club really, but for any of the English clubs. You try to put together a structure in terms of transfer fee, wages, what you can bring to him, what you can bring to you, and you do your best PowerPoint ever, and you present it to him, to his mum, and to his dad. And then you see the worst that can happen is that he says no to you. It's okay. Players have said no to clubs before. They will in the future. This is normal. This is the life of a football club. So go for it. You have to go for it. And then maybe a Liverpool, maybe a City if they're in, maybe a United, maybe even the others. Maybe someone can go there and convince him. But I do think that if Real Madrid come up with the offer and that everything is ready already almost, then I think he will choose them because, as we've said many times again in the last 2 years, it's his dream. They've been chasing him for so many years that now if they can get him, I don't think they will let that opportunity go.
Okay, Joel, so if he does go from PSG, what does it mean for PSG's project?
That's a really good question. That's the big debate in Paris. Can you recover if from PSG, from a PSG point of view, can you recover from losing in the same summer Messi and Mbappe, sorry, with Neymar? I was going to say on the brink of leaving. He's not really on the brink of leaving, but Neymar is a player that you don't really want anymore in your squad. So it's a huge rebuild. Not so much a rebuild in terms of like how your team is going to play. I mean, by the way, you still don't have a manager, but it's more like who is your next marquee signing, because your brand especially have gone all this way because of Neymar, Messi, Mbappe, and I guess before that, Thiago Silva or Ibrahimovic, those kind of guys. So to replace Mbappe, just in terms of standing and the kind of players that you can sign, it won't be easy. So we will have to see. I think if you go and get an Osimhen, a Bernardo Silva, those kind of stars, they may be not as superstars and certainly not as big as Messi, for example, or even Neymar or Kylian. But at least there's something there, but it won't be the same. So I cannot see how they can replace Messi and Mbappe with the kind of same standard. It's impossible. There are nobody, unless it's Erling Haaland who's not going to move. It's going to be very difficult. So already they're going to lose. Already we know that. It's how badly they lose and who can come in to replace those guys and still keep the standard of PSG as high as possible, I guess.
Did you win your game?
No, well, I forgot my glasses, so I couldn't see the numbers.
Can I suggest Wordle instead now?
He's not going to go to anybody in England, is he? I mean, would City push the boat out for Mbappe because is he better than does he improve the collective? Does he fit into the ethos of the work rate and, being about the team and Guardiola asking players to do different things? I'm not sure he does.
Would any top manager say no to Kylian Mbappe, though?
Well, I mean, it's not saying no to him. I mean, a manager might say no. I mean, if you're Guardiola and you're not going to lose any of these players and they've all done ever so well for you, the Bernardo Silvas and the Grealish and the Riyad Mahrez, and I'm not suggesting individually, clearly they are fantastic players, but they're not Mbappe's level. But that he brings a different problem. So maybe a Guardiola would say, well, I really love him as a player, but actually, do we want to go and spend 200 million, whatever it is, and upset the apple cart? I'm not sure City want to do that or have any interest in doing that. You may have noticed they've just won a treble. As for the rest, why would Mbappe go to a Liverpool, even if they had the money? Because there's no guarantee after last year that they're going to be back amongst the elite. They may be, but they might have another indifferent season like they had this year, and Klopp might start thinking twice. Chelsea's a circus. You know, they're outbidding gazillion pounds still for players, you know, paying over the odds, inflating the market. Man United, you know, you would imagine have a fair amount of clout financially. But is that going to make the big step for him? So does he want to go from a side in PSG into a team in England that may or may not be challenging, rather than going to Real Madrid? We know Real Madrid are going to be challenging next year. We know they're going to be strong. That's what they do. They bounce back. And ultimately, I think that's where he's going to go. I don't think there's a 5% chance he's going to go to England.
You missed Newcastle. If the worst that can happen is a no, what about Newcastle?
Newcastle have the money, but as I keep saying, all these suggestions come out of Newcastle is that that's not the kind of player that they're going after just yet. Kylian Mbappe or players of that standard come available only so often at any time, so maybe that changes that approach. But I just don't see that. I don't see any English club being a fit for Kylian Mbappe for a number of reasons. The only one, stylistically, maybe is Manchester City, but then they've got financial fair play regulations kind of hanging over their heads. I'm not quite sure how you then add a £200 million purchase to that, plus the wages that Kylian Mbappe would clearly command, given everything that's going on financially with them. Manchester United, by all accounts, have turned down Harry Kane because it's a little too expensive. Okay, he's 29 years old, so maybe they are willing to go a little bit further for Kylian Mbappe. But again, how much further if they aren't prepared to push that boat out for Harry Kane, a player they quite clearly need? I don't see Liverpool, I don't see Chelsea, especially no Champions League football for either of those this season. So that really just leaves Newcastle, which I spoke about. So for me, it comes down to Real Madrid or bust. And I don't see how Kylian Mbappe kind of causes this stir without having that in mind, having the club that he wants to go to in mind. And for me, the only fit is Real.
Are we really having a conversation here that includes Kylian Mbappe and Newcastle?
Just having a bit of if the worst that can happen is
listen, I love me a bit of Newcastle. It's a great story, but yeah, listen, let's have a bit of realism.
I hear he wants to wear the number 15 that I wore back.
I'll drive him to Real. That's what it is. I will drive him to Madrid.
Really wants to wear number 15 for Newcastle.
I'll drive him to Madrid if it means him signing for Madrid.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.